Hi everybody, I'm Philip Duncan. Thank you for joining us. Well, the weekend weather forecast looks typically spring-like, and the forecast for next week looks colder, windier, and even a little bit wetter for some areas that actually do need some rain. But let's kick off with the Thursday animated wind map, and it's not too cold at the moment. We've got a easterly at the top of the country and a northerly or a nor'wester in other parts of New Zealand. So it's fairly mild. Some of the nights are still a little cool, but the afternoon temperatures are warmer than average in just about every part of the country, and it's all thanks to this anticyclonic airflow that's going around that big high out to our east. So this is how we look for the very end of the week. That big high, it is still there holding on to the North Island to some degree, but in the south, here comes the cold front and a weak area of low pressure. And it's just enough to bring in a bit of rain on the western side, a little bit of rain and showers around Southland and even into Otago as well. Shouldn't be too cold just yet, but there is a cooler change on its way, and that really doesn't arrive until next week. For Saturday, that low is still sitting around the lower part of the South Island, the front moving very slowly northwards. It's very weak. Don't expect very much rain if you live on the eastern side, and to be honest, even on the western side, which is a relief after all that rain you had last week. We don't need another rain event. The showers you see up there, those are downpours into the afternoon. To Sunday, the front still sort of stuck around the upper part of the South Island, very slow moving because of the high pressure up to the north. Another big high out over Tasmania, and in fact, that is going to encourage a colder southerly coming in next week. These are southerlies here. So a colder change is on the way, and that actually begins in Southland on Sunday afternoon, and then in towards evening it moves further up and towards Otago, which means by Monday, that colder change goes all the way up to about Wairoa Upper and even into Hawke's Bay later on, and you've got a big temperature drop coming there after some warm weather. It does get much cooler on Monday as that southerly comes up, and the front, well, it very slowly moves into the North Island, but the good news is it brings in some rain to the eastern side, which needs it the most. And we end on Tuesday where it gets a little more interesting because that low to the north sort of goes around the country and down, and it starts to deepen further, now getting into the 900s with the air pressure range, which means it's finally turning into a proper low. And so you'll see that low out to the east, and it's driving in a windy southeasterly between that high and that low. So it's a cold Tuesday, it's a windy Tuesday, and it's a wet Tuesday along that eastern side of New Zealand. The western side not looking quite so wet. So we'll update you on that tomorrow because it's looking a little more interesting. So definitely a cooler change next week, but the positive is some rain is on the way for the regions that do need it the most. That is all from me. We'll see you again on Friday.